Hey everybody, it's great to see you back here again in our small groups. I hope you had a great summer. I hope it was restful and relaxing, and I hope you're ready to grow as disciples of Jesus Christ, because that's why we do this. Remember, one of the things that I've been paying a lot of attention to lately is Pope Francis talking about how he wants all of us to be missionary disciples. Missionary disciples, and maybe that's a phrase that you haven't heard too much about, and that might even be something you can talk a little bit about tonight or in the next couple of weeks. A disciple who goes out, right? A disciple who talks about our faith. And that's really what we want to try to do in the next 4 weeks. We want all of us to learn to become more comfortable in talking about our faith to one another and then to others, so that we can invite them in and bring them in. That's what we're focusing on tonight. Invite, being inviters, inviting people to church, inviting the people into a relationship with Jesus Christ. Might sound a little scary at first, but the more we talk about it, the more we talk about it with one another, I guarantee it, we're all going to get better at this. So thank you for saying yes to this. If this is your first time in a small group, we really greatly appreciate you taking the leap to coming. If you have been here before and done this before, we welcome you back again. This is how our faith grows, in these groups. That's why Jesus formed a small group, and that's how it began. Remember, the church began as a small group. So have a great time. You're going to be listening to Trish and Chuck. Kelly, they're going to be talking to you a little bit, and then you're going to have a great conversation amongst yourselves. Once again, thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Hi, my name is Chuck Kelly. I'm a parishioner here at St. Joan of Arc Parish.
And I'm Tricia Kelly.
And we are here under the banner of Contagious Faith. When we first read this gospel reading, one of the things that first came to our minds was the way that God's invitation to us has no boundaries. He doesn't care whether we've been a Catholic for 5 years or 5 minutes. That invitation to Him and to be a member of His kingdom is limitless. One of the things that we thought was important into that is it doesn't matter whether we're Catholics or non-Catholics, similar to whether the master didn't care whether somebody worked a full day or 1 hour in a day. That invitation into God's kingdom is always open to Catholics, to non-Catholics, anyone.
And in our own house, after we read this gospel, the thing that came to mind is something that we say to our 6 children all the time. We try to tell them, do the right thing just because it's the right thing to do. Regardless of what other people do or what other people say, just do it and find joy in doing it because it's right. And in the example of the gospel, the people who earned their wages, did what they were supposed to do and earned their wages, they lost their joy in what they were going to do with those wages because they were so worried about what other people were doing. We try to lead by example and teach our kids, don't compare to other people and, try not to care what other people think. Just do it because it's the right thing to do. And, God sees every little thing that you do, and He accounts for all of that, and He knows that the joy that you find in doing it is our way of accepting His invitation. And hopefully, by the way that we live, people will see that joy and want to be part of that kingdom and accept that invitation as well.
One of the ways that we as a family accept God's invitation is by going to Mass every Sunday, or at least trying to go to Mass as a family every Sunday. For some people, they may see it being a sacrifice that they may have to give something up, whether it's a sporting event, whether it's another activity. For us, the sacrifice is if we don't go to Mass. And again, as Tricia had mentioned earlier, is that we try to teach our kids that the invitation to God is always there. It's our responsibility to take Him up on that invitation.
We were just talking about a story, so we're going to share that story with you. A dad was telling us that, and his son was in the church and saw crucifixes on the wall. Perhaps it was the Stations of the Cross. And his son asked him what all the T's were on the wall. And then he went on to say that, they don't really attend Mass regularly, but he knows that we do, and they were laughing about it.
Because we have missed some soccer games, some hockey games, and some other team activities because we go to church, and we go to church faithfully.
So we said, no problem, how about he comes to Mass with us? We go every week and we'd be happy to bring him. So we said it's no problem to swing by his house on our way to St. Joan of Arc and pick him up, and he could come with us and he'd be happy. He knows all of our kids, he plays sports with our kids. And so we extended that invitation to him. We know that sometimes our kids might lose their opportunity to play. They're missing a game, they're missing a practice, because with so many kids, the weekends could be all encompassed by sports. And, we Google churches in Flemington and we Google churches in Pittsburgh.
Wherever the sporting events are.
Right, but we try to make it happen, and it can be frustrating. For everyone, it can be frustrating. But, we know that God's love and generosity is much bigger than what's happening here on earth. And, what's important to us, being first or playing on the first line or whatever it is, isn't what really counts. And we believe that they see that. We believe that they see that difference. So even if they grumble and complain, they go because they know it's the right thing to do. And they accept that invitation, we accept that invitation, and we hope through that example, other people see that and accept that invitation. And we hear it. We hear it from parents, we hear it from coaches, we hear it from other kids, but it's just the way it goes. It's just the way it is for us.